the thing that is most misunderstood about sports radio is its function. It's not that you're supposed to look. There are shifts, there are day parts where if you want to get into the minutia, if you want to talk about cycling and what they do on special teams and all the other things that go into it, all the details that go into being an NHL team, there are shifts for that. There are hours of that. That's not what a morning show does. That's what a morning show isn't supposed to. I'm supposed to call someone or bring the coach on who will explain those moves. I bring the general manager on. I can bring on one of the players. This is what hosting a morning show does. I'm hard pressed to think that going to work for a job that you hate, for a boss who sucks, for you getting yelled at every day and maybe not getting the money that's worth it to you. Maybe you have a hard day where you're outside every day. Hey, there's a lot of people in Western Canada that listen to that show that weren't just from Calgary. They were also from Saskatchewan. And these guys would be out working the fields and so on. They wanted to get some laughs in with a little bit of the sports. So what you want to do is be an entertaining guy, and hopefully you have the chops to actually do that. And then on the other side, you call someone who can explain all those things better than I can, better than any probably morning guy can, because there's a reason why they're a morning guy, because they were probably, for the most part, in broadcast and maybe not a great athlete. Look, my background is weird. It's different. I played at a very high level of sports, but I also started doing stand-up when I was in grade 12. Freak and weird. I was a goalie and a drummer. All the weird stuff that goes into this brain where I hear the voices. I'm sitting there looking at a football game. All of a sudden, I hear Peyton Manning going, what he should have done. What he should have done was you got to pull that back. You got to make them read into when you're going to play action pass. You don't just run with it, dummy. That's not RPO. This is what goes on in his head. This is what I have going on. Bob Cole,
I get it.
All kinds of stuff is going on there.
I don't even think it's weird.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Some leather-lunged New Yorker. He's cheering for the Panthers, but he's behind me, and he was making all these jokes. He's like, yeah, the Panthers are losing by a hair. I heard these Florida fans are rabid, but this is ridiculous. Anyways, and then security came down. Right from everybody, because the rabbit's not hurting anybody. I was kind of hoping the rabbit would crap all over the kids.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. How about this as we get ready for a Football Friday? Here's the bell. We're in one already. Here on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, podcast, and YouTube Live. I'm here in the South Florida studio. Let's bring in Darren Moose Dupont. Moose, our poll questions got people talking already, and I was going to get to it right out of the gate in a second. I hope you're ready to go. We're not going to waste a lot of time with pleasantries here right now. The Panthers whipped your Leafs' ass last night, and we will get to that. I was there, had a front row seat. But it's a Football Friday, and coming up on the program today, Jim Barker from the CFL on TSN, five-time Grey Cup champion. Leo Ezerins, being honored as one of the co-men of the year by the CFL Alumni Association. And speaking of CFL alumni, everybody's excited for the big-name guest, Ricky Williams. Miami Dolphins great. He is the third all-time leading rusher in college football history. Moose, I looked that up today, and I don't know. He's coming on to lead off hour 2. 1 hour from now, Ricky Williams will be live on this show. I could sit here and read you his Wikipedia, but it's literally longer than that. Okay, Ricky Williams. I got a lot to say to Ricky Williams. I've been waiting a long time to interview Ricky Williams, and I've got NFL people, I got CFL people, I got NHL people blowing up my phone. They're like, you got the biggest stars, Ricky Williams. Yeah, buddy. I'm pumped. Can you tell? So, yeah.
You are.
And here, when I said we're in one already, it's because the poll question, you came up with it, Moose. It was, who is the most notable NFLer to come to the CFL? And the poll every day, because it's a football Friday, we had to jump in with a football question. It's brought to you by Key Auto Group. At the Key Auto Group, you can buy with confidence knowing that they provide reports on all vehicles they sell. Get fully informed about your next vehicle by going to keyautogroup.ca. I'm going to try and not allow our viewers to annoy me and get me off track. It's not a promise. I just said I'm going to try, Moose. Because, for instance, the options are Doug Flutie, Ocho Cinco. What else did we say, Clark? Ricky Williams, obviously, because he's coming on. And Johnny Manziel. And so Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, whom I love like family is the best, he writes in and says, poll question, is NFL to CFL only, not CFL to NFL? Yes. To quote Mike Kelly, what don't we understand about that? They came from the NFL to the CFL. And we got Cole here in North Dakota writing in, and he says, Doug Flutie came from the NFL to the CFL, back to the NFL. Yes, what don't we understand about that? And I kind of felt like, I'm a fan of Ricky Williams, but when he was going through all his stuff 20 years ago, he was, I felt, somewhat unfairly maligned by the National Football League. The CFL, as we always do, opened our arms to him and said, come on in, Ricky. So obviously we're going to talk to him about that. Ricky Williams, I love him. And as life goes on, I understand him a hell of a lot more, but I don't feel like we misworded the poll, Moose. Do you?
No, not at all. It's an interesting poll, and it's got me like racking my brain. You got to remember, Chad Ochocinco is like my favorite football player of all time.
Yeah.
I grew up watching him. I love Ocho when he was with the Bengals. So he was great, but he was at the end of his career, winding down. Ricky Williams, a little different. I think it's between Manziel and Ricky Williams. Everything around Johnny. It is.
It's Doug Flutie.
Maybe, but
Sorry, no more phone calls, folks.
I didn't know who Doug Flutie was till he was in the CFL. Little different than Johnny Manziel for me.
That's your problem, not his problem. That's
but I'm
not
just saying.
His problem. That's your problem. Yeah, well,
right,
you can vote for whoever you want.
Yeah.
Sure, but the answer is Doug Flutie. And that's just out of respect. I've been around Doug. I've interviewed Doug. I almost feel dirty including him with guys that have as big a checkered past as the others in this poll. And I'm not trying to be rude or argue with you, but the answer's Doug Flutie. So what did I say, Moose? We're in one already before we even got to the show topics. And Kevin the Medium is writing us from the tarmac of the Calgary airport. Kevin the Medium, he writes that it says, good morning, RP peeps. Happy Football Friday. Sitting at YYC, heading to Vancouver to take in the Stamps BC game. Going to be an awesome game. Kevin has said the only reason he was invited to sit in the Lions Alumni Suite tonight is because of his role with the RP show. So thank you, Kevin. Enjoy. Thank you, Arlen Bruce, for making it happen. And yeah, it's just awesome, man. It's an awesome Friday, and I'm sure Leaf fans want to forget Thursday. So can you hit the quick 6 show topics, please? And the horn. Hit the horn, please. Thank you. We'll quickly run through baseball. Ketel Marte capped a 3-hit afternoon with a walk-off single in the 9th inning, and the Arizona Diamondbacks rallied to beat the Philadelphia Phillies 2-1 in the National League Championship Series on Thursday. The Diamondbacks are now behind the Phils 2-1 in the best-of-7, and Jose Abreu hit a 3-run homer right after Yordan Alvarez's tie-breaking sac fly. And the Houston Astros pulled even in the American League Championship Series with a 10-3 Game 4 victory over the Texas Rangers. Both series resumed today. We're going to quickly jump on the hockey, and then we're not going to talk about it again today because it's a Football Friday. Here in Sunrise, Florida, Kevin Stenlund and Oliver Ekman-Larsson got their first Florida goals, and the Panthers won their home opener by topping the Toronto Maple Leafs 3-1 in a playoff rematch. I called the final score and the winner from our Twitter account, Cats and Bolts Podcast. Please let me know what I've won. Elsewhere, Adam Ruzicka scored the go-ahead goal on a bad angle shot, 4:35 into the third period. And the Calgary Flames never trailed in a 4-3 win over the Buffalo Sabres. The Flames are at Columbus tonight. Cam Atkinson scored twice, and Sean Walker added his first goal with Philadelphia as the Flyers walked on the Oilers 4-1. Nikita Kucherov scored twice, and the Tampa Bay Lightning beat the Vancouver Canucks 4-3 to snap a 3-game slide. And in Winnipeg, Jack Eichel scored the go-ahead goal with 4:36 to go, and the Stanley Cup champion Vegas Golden Golden Knights beat the Winnipeg Jets 5-3 for their 5th straight victory to open the season. So I'm not going to sit here and talk about the woes of the Oilers, the woes of the Jets, or even how great the Florida Panthers are. But I got time for how soft the Leafs were last night. I do. Did you watch it? You must have watched it.
I was back and forth. I actually flipped around. What had most of my interest last night, to be honest, was the Jets and Golden Knights. That had most of my interest, and it lived up to it. I thought it was a great game last night. Came down to the third period, and that was a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, you go to the Toronto-Florida game, and, Toronto does their thing, but just clearly not ready to play. And now Bob is just loves playing the Toronto Maple Leafs. If he could play the Leafs every night, he'd win the Vezina every year. Was Bob again, and Florida won their home opener. I think that's big for them too, right? Of course, they were up for that game playing at home, and didn't end up being the marquee, hotly contested game that we kind of thought it was going to be going in.
Not for you, but for us it was. And there's so much going on. I mean, I got to be honest, I'm so bloody happy at this point in my life. You have no idea. I hope that it shows, and people tell me that it does show. The Panthers just treat me so well, and I'm running around trying to get everything done before the game. And you go to my Instagram story, the show's Instagram story, just type in Rod Pedersen. You'll see where I was. And down on the ice beside Austin Matthews and Bob, and up in the press box, with Bill Lindsay's dad. I'm all over the place, and I missed the banner raising ceremony. Unless they just decided not to do one. Maybe it's because they lost the Stanley Cup, but they still won the Eastern Conference. The banner's up there. I'm like, did I miss it? Maybe I did. But I'll say this, Darren, about the Leafs. I say this somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but there's also true. I was talking to the Panthers people before the game, and they simply said, if we don't give them any power plays in the first period and just be physical on them, we think we got a chance to win this game. Don't let that skill have the opportunity in offense to get wound up. Don't give them zone. Don't give unforced errors. You know what I mean? Just stay out of the penalty box in the first period. We think we can weather the storm. And that's exactly what they did. And then they crumpled up William Nylander on the end boards. Did you see that play? Where he got boarded? Nobody did anything about it. So why did you go get Ryan Reeves and Tyler Bertuzzi and Max Domi and a bunch of other meatheads? That's what you're there for, guys. So do you want to answer for the Toronto Maple Leafs, Darren? I don't see anybody else in the room, so I guess you're going to have to.
That's the story. That's been the story all year. Slow starts.
Has it?
Right? Yeah, when you don't get out to a good start and control the...
No, I don't mean the start.
Period.
I mean failing to answer for Nylander getting folded up like a cheap suit.
No, but then that leads to that, right? It dictates the way you play the game. When you don't have any push at the beginning, then you don't have any push back later, and then things like that happen, and you don't have the response. By the time you get into the second period, it's too late. You're out of it. You haven't started the game on time. Coaches talk about starting the game on time all the time. So... until you see better starts, you're not going to see better second and third periods. You're not going to see better responses when, things like that happen. It's that pushback. And they, for whatever reason, don't have it.
Thank you. And that was a Rick Bowness term from last year, pushback. We've all heard it forever, but he made it famous. That's really all I have to say about hockey. Thank you for your explanation. Our hockey coverage is brought to you by Common Crown Brewing Company in Calgary. Turning your everyday common beer into a unique and exceptional experience. Visit commoncrown.ca. I'll suggest this show's going swimmingly so far. There's only one place to go, and that's down. We're on track here. Point 3, Travis Etienne ran for 2 touchdowns in helping lead the Jacksonville Jaguars to a 31-24 victory over the New Orleans Saints on Thursday night. Jags quarterback Trevor Lawrence returned from his sprained knee that forced him out of the final minutes of a victory over Indy last Sunday. He led Jacksonville in rushing with 59 yards and threw for 204 and a touchdown to help the Jags win their 4th straight. Playing possum a little, do you think, on the Trevor Lawrence thing, and even signing Nathan Rourke to the activating Nathan Rourke, or what? What do you think about? It seemed like a whole lot of possum playing to me. If Trevor Lawrence is going to go out and lead your team in rushing, and you didn't even know if he's going to play, I smell a rat.
Yeah, this had my attention last night. This is where most of my focus was the football game. And to be honest, they were right up until, an hour before game time being cautious with Trevor Lawrence. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? And it looked like there was no effects of a knee injury. the way he was moving around last night. Jacksonville's a good football team. I think it was just an overly cautious thing with him. I'm sure there's something there, but it didn't look like it last night. He played well, and they ended up hanging on at the end, which, was a little closer than they wanted, but good game from Jacksonville.
Going to mention this, but we'll spend far more time on it later. The BC Lions host the Calgary Stampeders with sights set on putting the pressure on Winnipeg in their battle for top spot in the CFL West. That's the Friday night football game in the CFL. A BC loss or a Winnipeg victory in either of its remaining 2 games will give the Blue Bombers top spot. BC plans to have star quarterback Vernon Adams back for tonight's contest. I got it sent to me today, the Argos roster from a Rider person. Not a team person, but like a Rider fan, quasi-staff person going, uh-oh, the Argos are coming for bear. They got their full lineup. And I'm like, hello, boys, it's pro football. Nobody said it was even ever going to be easy. So the Argos are coming to Regina to win on Saturday. That's what Dinwiddie said after their last game. Did the Riders think that the Argos... Did they actually think that the Argos were going to lay down and let him win this game? Is that what they thought, Darren?
I mean, yeah, I guess. I thought maybe they were going to get the Winnipeg treatment and leave Chad Kelly at home. But they're trying to be the best team, Argos team ever, and they're trying to put their stamp on history. And this is their last, one of their last opportunities to get on the field. No, they're not going to lay down. They're going to try and roll in, playing well. And it's going to be really tough for Saskatchewan. There's no free spaces on the bingo card.
Put your big boy pants on, boys. It's going to be a slobber knocker at Mosaic on Saturday. And sorry to tell you, but the Argos are favored by 10. Scruffy's latest column on rodpeterson.com, Darren, was posted last night when I got home from the Panthers game. But he thinks the Riders are going to be in the playoffs. Everybody there seems to think they're going to be in the playoffs. And just the way things are going, it looks like they won't. What the hell's going to happen then?
I know. So
more CFL talk later. The poll question again for Key Auto Group. And I apologize for pulling old man rank on you there, but who's the most notable NFLer to come to the CFL? 76% saying Doug Flutie, 18% saying Ocho Cinco, 6% saying Ricky Williams, and 0% saying Johnny Manziel. And for the old-timers watching, I was doing sideline reporting. You heard this in the morning meeting. 1991 or 2, Saskatchewan Roughriders. I'm on the visitor sidelines on CKRM radio. And Dexter Manley won a Super Bowl with the Redskins D lineman and got into a little trouble. Found his way to the CFL. And Jim Daly was the defensive coordinator for Ottawa. They're playing Soul Man, Soul Man over the Taylorfield speakers. And Dexter Manley's got his helmet on backwards, and he's moonwalking down the sidelines to the east side stand, waving to the crowd. Ottawa Roughriders only got 11 guys on the field. Jim Daly's right snot running down his face like he always, headset sideways. Where's Manley? Soul Man, he's moonwalking. Maybe that's why. But Dexter Manley didn't make our poll. But it's a long list of notable NFLers that came to the CFL, and Doug Flutie will win this poll. But it's a colorful, colorful bunch. Moose, we'll see you in hour 2, and when you do return, we'll be playing NFL Deal or No Deal. So brush up.
Sounds good.
Jim Barker from the CFL on TSN, 5-time Grey Cup champion, coach, and executive, joins us next. We are live on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Our CFL coverage is brought to you in part by Sober Carpenter, non-alcoholic craft beer. Check them out at sobercarpenter.com and find a vendor near you. Here in South Florida, they're available at Total Wine and Spirits, Kensington Beer Market in Calgary, and all Calgary co-ops as well, and Lakeview Fine Foods in Regina. Well, it's always fun on a Football Friday chatting with this guy, CFL on TSN's Jim Barker. I kind of don't know where to start because I got a lot of questions. But, Jim, you're sharing the billing today with Ricky Williams. He's coming live in hour 2. When I say that name, what do you think?
I think the University of Texas and a guy that just wouldn't get tackled, that Mike Ditka trading the entire team for him. Again, I never got a chance to know him when he was here. He was with the Argos at a time I wasn't. And but heard good things about him and his attitude when he was up here and that type of thing. So I think he's in coaching now, and that is really exciting. So, you know, again, I don't know much else, but I'm excited to be able to share the platform.
Yeah, everybody seems to have an opinion on Ricky, good, bad, and indifferent. I kind of just wondered what yours was. So to Friday Night Football, which you'll be all prepared for here. The Calgary Stampeders at the BC Lions. It's a playoff game, basically, at BC Place tonight. What are your thoughts going in?
Again, I've been going through this game, trying to figure out how Calgary has a chance to win. I think that for BC, this is their kind of rehearsal for the semifinal game. should they not get into the, to be able to have Winnipeg lose. But again, Calgary is just they're such an enigma this year. They've gone through so many. Their defense has really gotten bad, and they've always been good on defense. And Micah always having a great year at Mike, but they had Jameer Thurman there, and they had Singleton before him, and I'm just not sure he's that caliber of guy. Their defensive front has had trouble. I just don't see how BC loses this game. I think this is a huge game for them. They put the pressure on Winnipeg then, and Winnipeg plays tomorrow against Edmonton, and I just don't see them at home. I don't see how Calgary has a chance. I just offensively, Tommy Lee Lewis left this week, so another one of their big playmakers is gone. They've lost guys, just Markeith Ambles earlier. They lost him, another receiver, and Beggleton comes back. But Jake Mayer has just struggled. And like I say, it was a nice win for them last week. But I have trouble seeing how they're going to do it in BC Place against a team that I just think is better athletically, and they're faster on defense. They've got playmakers all over, probably the best receiving core in the league. I think it's a tough chore for them.
Sure. And yet, anything can happen. That's why we watch. That's why they play the games. I'm just going to pass along some hellos. Allie in Texas says, "Happy Friday, Jim." She's a big fan. Ryan in Saratoga, New York says, "Time for Coach Barker to cook." I was mentioning, maybe you saw it before the break, the Argos have announced their roster. They're not resting anybody for Saturday's game at Sask, and I kind of thought, did the Riders or their fans actually think they would? Dinwiddie said they're coming there to win. What do you expect on Saturday?
I think the game last week when Dukes came in for a play and then Chad Kelly came back, and you watched what happened to that team. The defense, they went down and scored a touchdown that drive, and then the defense forced 2 turnovers their next 2 possessions. They just play at a different level, when Chad Kelly's in the game, and when I believe that the winning 16 games is important to that entire football team. It's not often in your professional career you get a chance to do something that only one other team in the history of this unbelievable league has done. That Edmonton team that went 16-2. I think there's something about that too that not only drives the players, and should that be the motive? No, it shouldn't. Playing great at the end of the year is what you're trying to do, and staying healthy. That's what you're trying to do. And it's a tough balance. I actually talked to Ryan a bit about it this week, and Ryan Dinwiddie, and he said it's a tough balance, trying to make sure we're healthy as we can possibly be, and still, that 16 wins doesn't come along very often. So again, it's one of those things that I guarantee you that football team is very focused, and you can hear it in the quotes their players make. They don't want to go there and not win the game. And I think the game against Ottawa the other night, they're behind 24-23, and Cameron Dukes comes in, and I got this feeling like, wow, they could lose this one. And sure enough, they put Chad back in the next play, and the rest is history. So it's really an interesting phenomenon to watch what happens and that kind of thing. But Saskatchewan is, again, they got so many problems of their own. The last thing they need to worry about is who the Argos are going to play, because if they can't figure their own situation out, it's going to be a very short-lived playoff if they get there, which I think they have a great chance, because, like I said, I don't see how Calgary beats BC, and then they have Winnipeg next week, and Winnipeg is going to have the bye. So are they going to rest everybody for the whole game, or are they going to want to place guys a little bit? I think that's kind of an interesting thing. I think you might see Winnipeg rest some people against Edmonton tonight, and then play them a little bit more next week. So I think Calgary's in tough to win a game, and they have to win a game or Saskatchewan's going to back into it.
Yeah.
Off of
the odds are that Sask will make the playoffs. But again, You never know. You saw us, I think, talking about who's the most notable NFLer to come to the CFL. We came up with 4 names, but there are many. Robert in Las Vegas writes in, he says, RP, have you forgotten the Mark Gastineau, Bridget Nielsen circus when it came to BC in 1990 when he had a cup of coffee for the Lions? Look, it's a long list, okay? We could only come up with 4. John Ohm in Winnipeg says, Jim Barker rocks. Please coach the Rough Riders next year. There were people that wrote in after your interview last week asking if you would consider any role in the CFL coming back, and particularly Saskatchewan, and I didn't have time to ask you, so I'll ask you now.
Well, Saskatchewan's where I started my career, and I just always admired that whole market, that the people, they love the fact that, and again, while it can be annoying, one of the things I like in Toronto is you can go places, and you go to the market in Saskatchewan, and they're going to ask you why you put a guy on the neg list that you have no idea why they put him on the neg list. Brendan Taman used to tell me stories about it, and I love that. I think that's just really exciting. Again, Saskatchewan, those guys they have their jobs, and who knows what's going to happen. I never say no to anything. I don't want to coach again. I do think that one of the things I love doing is getting the right people in place. I think that when you look back at my time in Calgary in 2005, when I went there, that's when they started their streak. Their playoff streak was that year. We came off the 2004 year, and they made me the GM. I had never done it. And so I became the GM in 2005, and Tom Higgins was the coach. And John Frazani gave me a wad of money and said, go down south and find us some players. And so I spent 2 years basically by myself learning to be a GM. I didn't coach and GM at the same time. So again, then when Huff came, we hired Huff in 2008. I moved up to being like a senior vice president. So, and then went to Toronto in 2010 as the coach and GM, which I really didn't want to do, but did it for a year or 2 years, and then turned it over to Scott and was the GM, because I just think it's too hard of a job to do both. And I think Dave Dickinson's seen a little of that. I just don't think you can be as good at either if you do that. So I never say no to anything. It would have to be the right deal with the right people. People are what win, and that's the one thing I've learned in this business is people win. And if you get the right people and they're all pulling the cord the same way, which is a lot easier said than done in this business. You have a ton of egos that's including myself. You have a ton of egos that trying to find them and find a way to get everybody to buy into the same type of situation. To me, that's the funnest thing that I've gotten to do in my career. That those years in Toronto when we had Chris Rossetti, who's now the director of personnel with the Giants, and Curtis Ruckavina, who's with the Bills, and Ted Govaya, who's with, those guys all came through and learned with me, and we kind of grew together. And those were the funnest times. We had great coaching staff. Scott, I met when he became the head coach, and then that staff is O'Shea, Orlando Steinauer. Those guys, their first time ever coaching was with me, and those kind of things are why I now as I look at the thing, that's what I've loved the most. I love doing what I'm doing on TSN now. I really do, and it would take something really, really intriguing. But I talk to anybody. That's but again, I'm not
well, it's interesting. Yeah. No, you're just answering the question. Ryan in New York says, speaking of negotiation lists, Tim Tebow was once on the Montreal Alouettes neg list. Mm-hmm. Oh, we'd have a all-star team of players that are on neg lists that never stepped foot across the 49th parallel. Tebow would be one. When I talked to him in New York, I told him that I worked in the CFL. He could not have cared less. But whatever. He's a busy guy. Hey, what's interesting, by the way, I've kind of got my football questions out of the way, other than if you have your eye on anything special right now. I'm just wondering what you enjoy the most about the media and what has opened your eyes about it that maybe you didn't expect in this role on the panel.
Well, I did it in 21, and I learned that year the preparation is a lot more than I watch a lot more film this year. I want to know the players. Sometimes the guys on the panel, because I talk a lot about the offensive linemen and the defensive linemen, and I love watching the roster things. Being able to share it with the fans is, a view that maybe they wouldn't think about. All the people on the panel were former players, and my path was different. I was a coach, assistant coach, a coordinator, a head coach, and then a GM, and then a vice president. So I've kind of done all that, and so I have a view that's a little different. And to be able to give that to the fans, like I say, I'm in this league still because of these fans. I love the Canadian Football League. I love at the Grey Cup being able to mingle with the fans and talk to them about different players and different things and different situations. And so that's what I've enjoyed the most is I've taken a better approach to preparation. I think that's what I lost a little bit in 21. And then the hardest thing for me is trying to be concise and get what I need to say out in 20 seconds or 30 seconds. And as you can tell from your show, I'm very long-winded. And, 10 minutes goes by really fast because I just have too much to say. And I have to learn how to get better at taking this key thing that I think is really interesting. And maybe it's not interesting to others, but if it's interesting to a couple fans, that's great. Maybe about how a team has put together their roster, or about how many Canadians are playing on defense. When the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Scott Milanovich's second week there as the offensive coordinator, they played 3 Canadians on defense. Well, they had never done that in all the time Tommy Condell was there. They'd never played 3 on defense. Well, I found that to be fascinating. Now, maybe nobody else did, but those are the kinds of things that I really get jazzed about, is when I see things nobody else is really going to think about and think, you know what, there's somebody out there who might be interested in this kind of piece of trivia or that type of thing. So giving my view has been a lot of fun. But I am long.
We all get. Well, here's one. When you find yourself repeating what you said, stop. Hopefully, they've got you they've given you a good coach. I did that with Luke Mullender, and I think he's turned into a fantastic color commentator with Saskatchewan. It doesn't take much,
he does great.
but it does take. Yeah, and it does take a little guidance, however. And
Milt Stiegel and Matt Dunnigan and Davis Sanchez. And then Kate Burness has been gold for me. I mean, she's taught me how to be a pro and helped me with how I get things to be a little more concise. And, we'll just be talking in the green room. She says, oh, you need to talk about that. And see, I would never think about those kind of things. So she's been fantastic. So I'm surrounded. And then Jamie Rydell and Troy White, our 2 producers, they've kind of brought me along. And like I say, I love doing it, and it's been a blast.
Yeah, well, you got some really, really good people around you. Jim, I appreciate the time. Enjoy the football. We'll chat next week.
Very good. Thanks, Rod.
The CFL on TSN's Jim Barker. His appearances are presented by EMJ Marketing. They'll provide the perfect keynote speaker for your event, including Jim Barker. Look up Joe at emjmarketing.com for his full roster. We'll be back with a sports update and audience takeover the rest of the way. In hour 2, Ricky Williams and Leo Ezerins, 2 guys whose names have never been used in the same sentence before, but they just were. Ricky Williams and Leo Ezerins in hour 2. We're live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at IKSGameDay.com.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Getting after it on a football Friday. Hope you're enjoying it as much as we are. Gorgeous day here in South Florida. And how about those Panthers winning their 5th consecutive home opener? Sorry to rub it in, Clark and Darren. What did I win in the bet? 3-1 for the Cats. And the Vancouver Canucks are the next victims on Saturday night at FLA Live Arena. Got some interesting stuff here. Did I mention Ricky Williams is coming up in hour 2? I've got a lot of thoughts on Ricky Williams. Yeah, I got a lot of thoughts on Ricky Williams in hour 2. If you have any questions, get them in now. Don't wait until we get in the middle of the interview when I'm not looking at my computer to ask your questions of one Ricky Williams. Please and thank you. Same goes for Leo Ezerins when he joins us as well. A sports update on this Friday. Christine Sinclair is retiring from international soccer at the end of the year. Canada's captain and the world's all-time leading scorer with 190 international goals says the time is right. The 40-year-old from Burnie, BBC plans to play one more season with her club team in 2024, but will call it quits with Canada in December. The Calgary Flames visit the Columbus Blue Jackets in one of 2 games on the NHL schedule tonight. The Flames picked up their 2nd win of the season last night with a 4-3 victory in Buffalo. Adam Ruzicka scored the winner. This is Johnny Gaudreau meets the Flames. Does anybody care anymore? Also tonight, the undefeated New York Islanders host New Jersey. I think it's only 2-0, but still. The Sports Update is brought to you by Common Crown Brewing, the high-quality beer behind great conversation and unforgettable memories. Visit commoncrown.ca, and as they say on their website, the best beer is the one that's earned. Now, there's another story here, and I'm going to read it because it's football, and it's Football Friday. It's this, listen, not every day could we go 3 to 4 hours on this show, but this week we've had enough topics and content that we could do that. I'll read what they're saying from the Associated Press wire here. The king of American sports wants to take over the world. The NFL's desire to become a global powerhouse is no secret. Growing the brand internationally, which was a major theme brought up this week at the NFL's league meetings. It started with the official announcement that flag football will be a part of the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles. That's a big victory for the NFL, which worked hard to grow the sport's popularity and push for its inclusion. The league has long viewed flag football as a catalyst for its international strategy. It's an inclusive sport that creates more opportunities to attract new fans through participation. Young flag football players across the world can now dream of representing their country in the Olympics. So more kids will come to know the NFL because of flag football. And the league is embracing the idea of allowing current NFL players or former players to participate in flag football in the Olympics. I'll believe it when I see it. In a way, I read that and I cry because it reminds me of when I was brought in to Arizona by the owner to meet with their staff about growing the sport of hockey in the Arizona Valley. And I said, let's create a road hockey, a street hockey league with teams from all NHL teams. And it didn't fly because the person in charge thought it was a bad idea. Let's just look ahead. I don't necessarily believe the NFL will allow its current players. That's what it says here. There's no way. But I tell you what, everybody's paying attention to what we're doing because my phone blew up this week with people saying, hey, I know that you have an involvement with flag football and USA football. Congratulations on the announcement. And I'll take this one step further. I had NHL people, they're probably watching right now, start texting me yesterday when we had the topic of should NFLers and CFLers be allowed to participate in flag football in the Olympics. And incidentally, the results of our poll, because that was the poll question yesterday, should they be allowed, was like 51-49. I can't remember who won, but it doesn't really matter. Yes or no. So this is going to be a lightning rod topic over the next few years. And actually, Darren does want to address this when he joins us later on in hour 2, because he's got thoughts. Of course he does. I'm firmly against pros playing in the Olympics. And the one NHL guy said, don't you want the best players there? And I said, like everything in life, it's a matter of perspective. I know the Team USA national team members personally. Called their games. Frankly, they've given a lifetime to the sport, and now they're going to be tapped on the shoulder and said, yeah, you're gone. Hoosh Doucette, star from Texas, who scored 4 touchdowns in the gold medal game against Mexico. The title of my book, I Was There. So it's only for that reason. If I didn't know these people, I wouldn't care. But I do. So I don't think the pros should be there. He's just texting me. Yes, I'm listening right now. And somebody within our brain trust, which I might be using that term loosely, said we need Serena on the air more. We need more female influence. And well, she was there doing the sidelines of those broadcasts. And she's kind of in between. She could be convinced either way, but she interviewed the USA coach, and he said tackle football players and NFL players wouldn't be successful playing this. For whatever reasons, I don't remember. We got to get them on. but he firmly believes it. So I guess we have tryouts and may the best players win. How about that? But Darren wants to get into, hey, if the NFL doesn't put their players in because of fear of injury, but the CFL, the dollars are far less, they don't care as much, and it would be a wonderful marketing vehicle, who would those players be for Canada at the Olympics? That's the conversation I'm here for. So that'll come up throughout the course of this show. We'll be right back with full-on audience takeover. We're live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
I'm Bridget Lacroix. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Here we go, a fabulous football Friday, taking you into the weekend. Hope you've got big plans. I certainly do. I haven't looked into this too closely, but I believe we've got a high school football game to go to. Me and my guy, Chris Sanford. Man, I hope that what this show in episode 1104 today hasn't never changed in this regard. We do want to be a distraction from a mundane life, if that describes yours, or the frenetic pace and troubles of the outside world. And I bring this up because Chris Sanford, you've heard me talk about him, my buddy from the Bronx, he's a military guy. He was in the Navy, as was his son Kyle, who I just met last Friday night. And this morning, rather than talk about sports, the way Chris says it, I just stood on the curb and listened to two military people talk about what's going on. Gaza, Israel. It ain't good. Newsflash. And I'm kind of just staying in my own little bubble over here. To listen to two military people talk about this kind of scares the spit out of you. So if it works out, point being, as I land the plane, Chris and I are going to go to a high school football game. It'll be a home game for me. Boca Community High School against the Cardinal Gibbons Chiefs. I believe that's on the schedule tonight, but it's been a little busy for all of us. That's the plan. We got him going here. Thank you for the questions. By the way, remind me of these, everybody. The questions for Ricky Williams coming up top of hour 2. Nelson wants to know, Ricky, did he underestimate the CFL when he came to Toronto? Ken Austin got fired over that, as I recall, 2006. Adam Rita was the head coach of the Argos. Ken Austin was the offensive coordinator. If I have this right, and you CFL people watching, tell me if I have it wrong, but I believe Adam Rita wanted to run the ball. We got Ricky Williams, for God's sakes, run the ball. Well, it's Ken Austin. He wants to throw the ball. And Kent was fired before Labor Day over a difference of opinion. Ha! Is he nodding his head? Ricky is logged in. The story I heard, Adam Rita wanted to run the ball. We got Ricky Williams. And Kent wanted to throw the ball. Kent lost. But it was, i.e. being fired. But we won because we got Kent and Sask the next year and won a Grey Cup. Regarding pros in the Olympics playing flag football, I'm sorry, but I'm against it because of my personal relationship with USA Football and those athletes. But it's not going to, between now, it's not going to stop people talking about it. Between now and the next 5 years, who's going to represent? Somebody says, Randy in Winnipeg writes in and says, will Tom Brady go for gold? The one notion I heard from Football Canada was they would allow guys that had retired from the CFL in the last 5 years to try out to play for Team Canada, not necessarily be anointed a spot. Come to our camp. And if that's the case for USA, oh my God. Can you imagine Tom Brady in the Olympics quarterbacking the USA? In that case, maybe Hoosh Doucette in the Team USA people. He's the guy I remember the most from broadcasting their games at the national championships last year. He might step aside for Tom Brady. Now, this will be up to USA Football and, again, NFL owners, because I don't think they will allow their players to play. Carlos in Indianapolis says, have the playoffs started for high school football down there? No. We've got about another month to go there, Carlos. How about you? My Cardinal Gibbons High School Chiefs have taken a significant tumble in the national rankings. I don't want to talk about it. But Miami Central is maybe the best in the country. Nelson, our VP of Sim Events, says Ricky only had 2 touchdowns that season. He was severely underutilized. That's why Kent was fired. 2006, and I remember it like it was yesterday. Randolph in Toronto watching says Ricky Williams player was the top-rated player in the history of Madden gaming. He was a 99, as it should be. Third all-time leading rusher in college football history. Ricky Williams joins us after this brief pause on Game Plus TV and Key Radio.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Some leather-lunged New Yorker. He's cheering for the Panthers, but he's behind me, and he was making all these jokes. He's like, yeah, the Panthers are losing by a hair. You know, I heard these Florida fans are rabid, but this is ridiculous. Anyways, and then security came down. Woo, right from everybody, because the rabbit's not hurting anybody. I was kind of hoping the rabbit would crap all over the kids.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yes, it is. Guilty as charged. Thank you, Rick Regan. Welcome to Hour 2 of the RP Show, your favorite daytime sports talk show live on the Game Plus television network across Canada and 31 U.S. states. We're on the radio in Atlanta, WQEE 99.1 FM, and on these streams. We can put him on the screen now if you don't mind. Ricky Williams, I've been wanting to interview him for a very long time. The football resume is what it is. Pro Bowl running back, NFL rushing leader, number 34, retired at Texas. Bear with me, Ricky. I won't go through it all, but New Orleans Saints, Miami Dolphins, Toronto Argonauts, Dolphins again, Baltimore Ravens. And if you'll allow me, from your PR firm, the reason Ricky's here today, Gold Leaf, a Cannabis 2.0 brand focused on a unique positioning within the ever-growing cannabis market, along with premium cannabis brand Ideal, announced a partnership with Heisman, the purpose-driven cannabis lifestyle brand founded by NFL legend and former Dolphins running back Ricky Williams. The partnership the playbook will kick off with Rick's Picks and will be available for delivery via Gold Leaf in 16 counties throughout Florida and a Gold Leaf's retail flagship in Sebring beginning next Friday, where Ricky himself will be making an appearance. But lucky us, we got him today, live on the RP Show. Ricky, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Hey, we got a lot to get to and not a lot of time here. I appreciate the time. The first question I will have for you is, how are things? They seem fine, but how are they in your life?
They're wonderful. You know, I'm an entrepreneur now. You just did a great job announcement about Heisman, one of my businesses, entering the wonderful state of Florida. I also have an app on the App Store, so if anyone is interested in the way I look at things and the way I think about things, check out Leela. So I'm a businessman now, and so I'm constantly working on how to add value. You know, I think in the startup game, a lot of people are really focused on how do I trick people into buying my products. But you know, for me, it's what I learned as a football player, because on the football field, if you're not productive consistently, you lose your job. And so it's really, for me, all about providing value.
Well, listen, when I say I've been trying to interview for a long time, if you notice your Facebook, we are Facebook friends. And although I spent 20 seasons in the CFL as a play-by-play announcer, which we'll get to, I'm almost 9 years sober, mental health and addiction recovery coach. And people would think, why would you have Ricky on with what he's promoting? And I'm like, listen, I'm not anti-alcohol or drugs. And as a matter of fact, when you were going through your stuff, looking back, I kind of think you're ahead of your time. I'm sure you felt that way all along. Or how do you feel about it now?
Usually when you're young and you're ahead of your time, you just feel misunderstood. And so of course I had to go through that phase of feeling misunderstood. But I will say, you know, I heard you earlier talking about my time in Canada, and the timing of me getting a chance to play for the Argos was just perfect. I remember the first several press conferences I did when I got up to Toronto is I heard almost the exact same phrase multiple times. And whether it was a coach or a reporter, they would say, "It's just pot. What's the big deal?" And I was like, you know, I really love Canada. And so it was a great place for me to come, and I had a chance to be myself, and it was a great experience.
By the way, Allie writes in from Texas. She's a huge fan of yours. She was writing in yesterday, excited that you were going to be on. She's like, hey, Ricky, big fan, one of the best Longhorns to ever play the game. Hook 'em forever. So that's from Allie. She wanted to pass that along. Can we jump on the Argo thing for a second, Ricky? Did I have that right?
Please.
On the Ken Austin, Adam Rita
close.
thing? That there was a
You were
okay,
close.
what happened?
Adam was in the front office. Pinball was the head coach. But it was one of those things where David Cinnamon, one of the owners of the Argos at the time, it was his idea to bring me on. I don't even think he consulted with the coaching staff. And so he brought me into a team that ran 5 wide receivers, passing team, who already had all-star tailback in John Avery. So it was kind of one of those situations where they were trying to force it to work. And with Ken Austin, it wasn't going to work. And so Ken left. Adam came over and took over the play calling abilities, and he turned it into a 2-back system. So I actually, the last part of the season, I was the fullback and I played a little bit of tight end. It was fun. But the main issue in Canada was that I broke my arm and I had an Achilles injury. So I missed more than half of the season due to injury.
Well, this probably won't surprise you, but I broadcast your last CFL game in Regina, and my current financial planner it was the linebacker that tackled you when you broke your arm, Mike McCullough. It's his claim to fame. I was there, and I remember the ambulance pulling up, and I'm like, oh, no, this is bad. So I was there, Ricky. Funny how, and that's my thing, how everything's related, and I'm very, very, very grateful to have you on the air today to promote your business more than anything, but to just tell you that I support you and what you're doing, and I get it. Man, I've been misunderstood forever. I told you, almost 9 years sober. I get it. And it took a long time. And that's why I wondered how you are in terms of having peace in your life, because you kind of always seem to have it.
Well, I was always working towards it, you know? And I think that's what's important, especially when you're young, is what you're working towards. And I know you can speak to this as we get a little bit older. We start to get payment. We start to get paid for the hard work and dedication and misunderstanding that we put in earlier. And so I am in a place in life where whatever happens, I'm peaceful because I've been through it all before. And I know confidently that it's all going to be.
Yeah, it's like what's gonna break me now? Yeah, so yeah, it's a wonderful place. So I'm glad that you're there, Ricky. And I remember didn't you go to like Africa and you wanted to start being a photographer or something? Are you still doing that?
I went to Australia with my camera. I've been to Egypt and I want to get to sub-Saharan Africa. It's definitely on my travel list. But yeah, I got into photography. I'm one of those people. I'm constantly looking for something that's gonna catch my attention and be worthy of my energy and my passion. And so, I went through an experimental phase where I was trying everything and traveling. I love to travel. I just feel like we only have 80, 90 years if we're lucky. So I'm really trying to get the most out of this experience.
Well, they say, I don't know if you mentioned or you would know that you're the third all-time rusher in NCAA history, that a ball carrier gets hit on average 5 times per carry on a play. So I know a lot of running backs that aren't doing too good at your age. How are you doing in that regard?
To be honest, I could give the easy answer and say I'm great, but the reality is I'm great because I take care of myself. And if I took a week off, I don't eat perfectly, but if I ate like crap for a whole week and didn't do any exercise, I would be like those other running backs. Literally, it's that drastic. And so it's motivation to keep taking care of myself. And when I was young, people, older people would say, use it or lose it. And I was like, whatever. But now as I'm getting a little bit older, I realize you got to use your mind and you got to use your body or it will start to go.
Don't we all? John O'Flynn, watching in Vancouver, says, did Ricky have any connections with the BC Lions at any time? Did you play BC in your time in the CFL? And if so, do you remember?
We played BC once. And you mentioned I had 2 touchdowns that year. One of them was against the BC Lions.
Okay, I didn't mention it. One of the viewers did. They remember this stuff, man. They remember it well. And somebody wrote in here earlier, had an Argos connection, and they said, hey, what we remember about Ricky was he's a great guy, very thoughtful, nice to everybody. And that's the thing that annoyed me when you were going through what you were going through. Duron Carter's a really close friend of mine, and it just ticks me off when I see teams or leagues and the media malign somebody unfairly when I know they're a good person. You passed all that?
Yeah. I had a really good coach one time say, you're never as good as they say, and you're never as bad as they say. And so anytime I got myself in a pickle where I was feeling bad about myself, I just remember that quote, and it alleviated 80% of the anxiety. So it's true, and I think to me, the idea of being famous or being a role model is that if you're too worried about what other people say, you're not going to be a very good role model. If you're worried about what image or what message you want to put out into the world and you keep working on that, you'll be just fine.
Well, the thing is, we talk about being unfairly maligned. I bet you've had a ton of people had your back through it all. People you know, and a lot of people you don't know. And that's got to feel good.
Yeah. I think before I got in trouble being a famous football player, I never knew what people were into or why they were coming up to me or they'd really appreciate me. But after I got in trouble, it became clear, I remember it was right after me failing a drug test became public, and I was staying at a friend's house in Southern California. And one of his neighbors had a 14-year-old daughter. And we were out, and the guy came over and he's like, I really would like you to meet my daughter. I think she could learn a lot from you. And I was like looking at him and I said, have you read the news? And he's like, yeah, that's actually why. And I was like, whoa. Because from living in the football world, I only thought, this is bad. I'm going to get in trouble. Bad, bad, bad. But to see outside of football, the real world, that people could understand and appreciate what I was going through. So it was powerful.
That's a great story. Well, and just before we talk about Heisman, I was in I'm just going to pass this along. I was in a clothing store in Scottsdale Quarter wearing a CFL jacket. I think it might have been a Rough Riders jacket. It had a CFL logo. And the girl goes, are you behind the counter? She's like, do you have something to do with the CFL? I said, yeah, I work in it. She goes, oh, I used to date Ricky Williams. And I thought, that's probably a large group. But she's like, if you ever see Ricky, and I think I had her card, but I don't have it anymore. So maybe somebody in Scottsdale misses you, Ricky. So beyond that, You're making a tour around Florida. What? Tell me about Heisman and what you got moving here.
Yeah, so, the idea with Heisman is everyone knew I got in trouble for cannabis when I was playing. And then when I left, I started thinking, is this just part of my story that I got in trouble for it, or is there a deeper story? And if I'm being honest, cannabis actually helped me get through the NFL. It's a very painful and stressful job. And I think all football players need to find a way to alleviate and ameliorate that stress. And we all have different techniques. For me, yoga, meditation, and cannabis is what worked for me. And so I thought instead of just going off into the sunset, that I would tell my story, because my guess is there's a lot of other people out there that have found cannabis to be helpful for them, and a lot of people around them don't understand. And so I thought, I could be a role model and an inspiration for those people. And apparently there's a whole lot of those people. And so I've taken it on as a mission, to get the word out that, if you have the right kind of mindset, Heisman and cannabis can really offer you some relief and better quality of life. And so because of the regulations in our country, each of the different states have different cannabis laws. And so as a business, we have to find partners in each market in each state. And our latest expansion is into the wonderful state of Florida. And we found the best partner in Florida. And I'm not just saying that, I'm saying it because I went around and because everyone wants to work with Heisman. So I went around to every cultivation, every grow, and talked to the people, and just to get a sense of what they're all about. And Ideal and Gold Leaf are by far the best in Florida. So I'm excited to come back to Florida and bring in the bag with me. So it should be fun.
How long has this process, if you don't mind me asking, to get to where we are today, to announce it and launch it, how far back has this gone? Stuff doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, so we launched the brand in California and Oregon back in November of 21. And so we've been at it for almost 2 years, and we keep growing and growing. But from day one, I had my eye on Florida. It was just waiting for the right partners.
Outstanding. Well, your guy, Kevin, from the PR firm, tells me that you are in South Florida regularly, and that's where I'm at, Boca. So when you're ever down here, let's do this. I'd love to do it in person. But just you mentioned yoga, meditation, and cannabis. I got a friend, I'm not going to say any more than that, other than a pro baller who's been through some struggles, but he's good now. And I said to him, not that long ago, floating in his pool, I said, what's getting you by? And he goes, sunshine and ganja. And I said,
yeah,
if that works for you, I said, if that works for you and you're happy, you're not hurting anybody. Good for you. I'm as they say, a whatever works guy. I'm a whatever works guy. So whatever gets you through. Yeah. What else would you like people? What else would you like people to know, Ricky, before we let you go?
Well, I already mentioned it. I said yoga, meditation, and one of the things that has really helped me understand myself and love myself has been understanding myself from an astrological perspective. And not just I'm a Gemini, but the science of astrology has been around for thousands of years, and people that have spent time studying it, like myself, have really found a way to make it useful for people. And so my app, Lila, L-I-L-A, on the Apple Store, the App Store in Apple it's cool. So I'd say if people are interested and think that the kind of stuff I talk about is fascinating, then you should definitely check it out.
Lila? Spell that again?
Mm-hmm.
L-I-L-A?
Yeah.
I gotcha. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to get it now. Well, Ricky, when I say this, you now know that I mean it. If you ever feel misunderstood, I get you. So I appreciate this time. It's better than I thought it would be, this interview. So thanks, and we'll see you when you come through Boca or the area.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Dolphins great, Argos alum, and Gold Leaf and Heisman brand ambassador and CEO Ricky Williams. We're going to play NFL Deal or No Deal when we come back, and Leo Ezerins is on the way, the CFL Alumni Man of the Year. He will be honored at the Grey Cup in a few weeks' time in Hamilton. We are live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
2 million liters of power creates electricity. Electricity creates.
View Casino. Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Daytime sports talk at its best, if I do say so myself. Don't be alarmed. Yes, the host is wearing a robe. In a moment, you're all going to know why. I continue in the South Florida studio, as you see. Darren Moose DuPont coming in from the Toronto outfit. We're being produced out of Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada at IKS on the radio in Atlanta, WQEE, and on television in Toronto, Game Plus. Hey, Moose, so what did you think of the Ricky Williams interview?
I mean, Ricky's Ricky, right? I mean, when you see those guys and you haven't seen them in a long time, it kind of takes you back a little bit, and you kind of, you know, some of us may have sat there and been like, kind of forgot the Ricky Williams era of, you know, in the CFL. But then when you get him back on, it just kind of brings back all those memories. So it's kind of cool.
I can see it now. 3downnation.com. Ricky Williams reflects on time with the Argos. Do me a favor, Dunk. When you're writing that article, put in a plug for Gold Leaf and Heisman cannabis brands. That's the one thing people don't understand. It would be highly, which, by the way, I never did drugs, but only because I was too scared to. I've told that story publicly. A lot of people have. I didn't, because I was told if you do them, you're going to die when I was 9, so I didn't. But alcohol, oh my God. I drank the Atlantic Ocean worth of that. So I'm not saying don't drink. I'm not telling you not to do drugs. If you do and you want to stop and can't, that's where I can help you with addiction recovery. But I don't hold it against anybody. And I don't want anybody to think that I do. Shoot. Common Crown is one of the businesses keeping us on the air. Common Crown Brewery in Calgary. We wouldn't be in business very long without our betting partner and alcohol partner. Can we get the weed company on, guys? I don't care. It's a business, right, Moose?
Ricky's still watching? Get those companies on board.
Good point. That's the thing. Can we get the salespeople on this? That's not my department. Allie in Texas watching. She says, great interview. Love that guy. Hook 'em. Randy from Winnipeg. Great interview, Rod and Ricky. BW in Edmonton says, grrr, late getting in. Missed the interview. Well, I don't quite know how YouTube works. You can go and rewind it, I think. I've had a hockey person just text me and say, not just the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific. Yep. And if I may, this gentleman was with me on one misspent night near the Pacific Ocean. Anyways, enough of that. Are you done?
I got a
telling
couple
stories,
ideas on
Moose.
who it is.
For the 5th time, I don't want to fight you. That happened. You ready to go?
Let's go.
Have you been studying up on the National Football League, Moose?
I'm ready.
Okay. Let me get my helmet on. We're going to play NFL Deal or No Deal. Let me get my stop. I don't even need the stopwatch. We're playing NFL Deal or No Deal for our exclusive betting partner, Bet Regal. Sign up this weekend. We don't ask you to do much. Go to betregal.ca and just join for free, like all of us, and be in the cool club. I give the point spreads for the National Football League this weekend's games. Darren decides whether he's going to take the bet or not. He's actually pretty good at it. Washington at the New York Giants. Massive NFC East showdown there. The Commanders favored by 2.5. Deal or no deal?
You got a deal for me. I'll take the Commanders to keep rolling over New York.
Deal here, too. Buffalo Bills at the New England Patriots. The Bills favored by 8.5 in that AFC Eastern showdown. Deal or no deal?
Another deal for me. It's a get-right game for Buffalo's offense.
The Cleveland Browns at the Indianapolis Colts. The Browns are favored by 3. Deal or no deal?
It's 3 deals in a row. I'll take it.
Yeah, Colts are really sucking slew water. Will it continue? 4 for 4. The Atlanta Falcons. Hashtag rise up. At the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Bucs favored by 2.5. Deal or no deal?
Keep it rolling, baby. Another deal for me. I'll take the Bucs and Baker.
Me too. The Pittsburgh Steelers at the Los Angeles Rams. The Horns favored by 3.5. Deal or no deal?
Holy smokes. Deal.
It's okay, you know. It's okay. You're going to have to pick one upset in here as we roll along, however.
I know.
Or don't. It's entirely up to you. The Arizona Cardinals at the Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks and the 12s favored by 7.5. Deal or no deal?
Here it is. No deal. I'll take the Seahawks to cover and keep it close.
Nice. Well, the Seahawks are favored by 7.5. So if you're saying they're going to cover.
The Cardinals to cover.
Okay. I'll take the deal. Green Bay Packers at the Denver Broncos. This might be the game of the week. Well, it's not, but it's up there. The Packers are favored by 1.5 at Denver. Deal or no deal?
I'll take the deal. It's going to be a weird game, but I'll take the deal.
Yeah, Denver's a grease fire of epidemic proportions. The Los Angeles Chargers at the Kansas City Chiefs and Taylor Swift. The Chiefs favored by 5.5. Deal or no deal?
No deal. I think the Chargers will keep it closer than that. Maybe a field goal.
I'm taking the deal. This, to me, is the game of the week. The Miami Dolphins at the Philadelphia Eagles. This is Sunday night, prime time at the Link. Eagles favored by 2.5. Deal or no deal?
No deal. Something's not right there. I'll take the Dolphins.
Yeah, they're rolling. And the San Francisco 49ers are at the Minnesota Vikings on Monday Night Football. The 49ers are favored by 6.5. Deal or no deal?
I'll take a deal there just because Minnesota struggles in prime time.
You got a deal from me. And that is deal or no deal for our exclusive betting partner, Bet Regal. Again, sign up today, betregal.ca, and get playing. Do us a favor. Okay, I'm taking this off because I'm not going to wear this for the whole gig. Just checking in from the studio audience. Buffalo Bill writes in from North Dakota. Says there are 7 oceans of alcohol to consume. Glad you stopped. Yes. As my good friend Derek Duke Myers once said, my old drinking buddy, we all feel better since you quit drinking physically. Can't tell you how many times I've picked up my phone to text that guy. He's not around. Sucks. Steven in North Dakota says, my new NFL team of choice, the Buffalo Bills. They're very attractive. You weren't there, Darren, at the casino in Calgary when he was making his way through all the female staff. And when I say that, I mean hitting on them. Buffalo Bill.
I know what you mean. I got all
Didn't
the
get too far. And some photos in some cases. What is on, by the way, your NFL radar right now this week? Because I'm seeing a lot of things. I feel like Gronk needs a hobby. And he wants to go play flag football for Team USA. Then he wants to come down here and be a tight end for the Dolphins because I don't know if you saw that quote or not. He goes, he's missing, referring to Dolphins coach Mike McDaniel, as a tight end, which is actually true. But if you haven't noticed, Gronk, they don't need one. Gronk, get a hobby. What do you think about what Gronk has to say?
I know, and he's going on the TV panels quite often, with a bit of a regular gig there. I don't know. He's a guy who seems to float in and out, right? Like, we know him as the party animal, but for a stretch of 6 months, he's like, no, I'm not partying, not drinking, staying home tonight. And then all of a sudden, you know what? I want to party again. And then he's ringing you up every Friday and Saturday night. That's how it feels like. He takes time off, and then all of a sudden he gets the itch to come back and play with Tom. It's like, let's do this. Tampa Bay, let's party, let's play. Yeah. And now he's been sitting back on the couch, getting sober, and now it's like, no, I want to go party again. Miami, you need a tight end? Let's party, let's play. And he thinks they can go out and win, and they probably could. I don't know if he can play, though.
I can tell you this without any hesitation. I go back and flip on my recovery coach hat for a while. You can see it from a mile away. And in a way, in my sports career, I've been through it. Gronk doesn't know what to do because all he's ever done is football. And Tom Brady was the same. And I said that to you. Tom was here, then he was there, then he was over there, then he was here. He didn't know where to be. But when's the last time we really saw Tom, aside from his statement on the attacks from Hamas? When's the last time you even saw his face? I haven't in ages.
No, it's been pretty rare that we see Tom popping up right now. He's gotten pretty quiet since he was popping up at NFL stadiums every week.
Yeah, and again, why do you think that is? Again, listen, it's not what I think this is what happened. This is what I know what happened. And somebody would have sat Tom down and said, Tom, you need to chill. And to be honest, I went through that. My brother did the same thing. as you know, because you had a front row seat through all of this. And I'm like, no, I'm good. But they think you lost your mind. You don't know what to do because you've lived one way forever. And all of a sudden, rip, it's over. What? What do I do now? That's exactly what Gronk and Tom Brady have been going through. And Gronk still is. And that's the other thing is Tom, if you remember, 3 seasons ago, says he's going to retire. And then he unretires and plays a full year. Then he says he's going to retire again. His marriage blows up. And then he says he's going to wait 18 months before he starts on the TV booth. He should have been on the TV this fall. Right? He shouldn't have taken that 18 months off, but he thought that was what he needed. And I know, listen, I have not yet met Tom Brady, but if you've noticed the crew of people that I'm hanging around, it's coming.
It's getting there.
But I know people that know Tom Brady and quite well. And get a message to him. Slip my number to Tom because I could help him out because he has not been getting really good advice, in my opinion. He should have been in the booth this fall. You know what's going to happen? He's going to end up playing flag football.
Oh, boy.
Or announcing it.
No, he could.
What do you
That's
think?
What's going to happen?
Well,
He's gonna play in the Olympics.
Were you watching? Right. Were you watching? I don't know if you were earlier. You were off the show, but somebody wrote in and said that's what Tom will be the quarterback for Team USA, Flag Olympics. Flag football at the Olympics, which frankly I think is wrong. Let me guess, you'd like to see it.
Of course I'd like to see it. I want Tom to be playing the game.
You would.
But could he? No. I mean, in his career, Tom, never ran the football. You have to be able to move in flag football. He'd get eaten alive. They would just run at him to sack him. He wouldn't. I don't think he could play flag football, unfortunately.
Damn, it would be great to watch, though, wouldn't it?
Oh, so good.
Okay. We've really cracked a lid on. Well, we'll have to carry this through the weekend and talk about it more on Monday. NFLers and CFLers playing flag football at the Olympics. But we have to adjourn. Thank you, Moose, for your contributions, as always. Have a great Toronto weekend.
You too.
We'll be back. Well, I won't have a Toronto weekend, but you get it. Leo Ezerins joins us next. He is sharing the CFL Alumni. I'm calling it Man of the Year because, let's be honest, they are. Him and Rocky DiPietro. At the Grey Cup, they'll be honored at the CFL Legends Lunch. We'll be right back with Uncle Leo in a moment on this Football Friday on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube Live.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
IKS Game Day wishes to congratulate the city of Estevan and Affinity Place on their brand new center ice display. This state-of-the-art score clock features 5 LED faces with full motion graphics, scoring integration, and our new Halo mounting system. If it's time for an upgrade, let us show you how to deliver the best fan experience. You can find us at iksgameday.com.
Hi, my name's Logan Stanko.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Broadcasting from gorgeous South Florida, where we're big CFL fans. It's the RP Show on a Football Friday. And here's the news from Monday. The Canadian Football League Alumni Association proudly announcing that Hamilton Tiger Cat alumni members Leo Ezerins and Rocky DiPietro have been named co-winners of the 2023 CFL Alumnus of the Year Award presented by Zanchin Automotive Group. Teammates in 1986 when the Ticats won the Grey Cup Championship. It's only fitting that these two stars represent Hamilton at the 110th Grey Cup. Let's bring Leo in, also a member of the Gridiron Greats Hall of Fame. He's just a Hall of Famer and a Hall of Fame person. How you doing, Leo?
Doing really well, Rod. Thanks very much for having me on the show. It's great to see you again, or talk to you again. It's been a while.
Well, listen, I texted you congratulations, but here's me saying it face to face. Congratulations. You've been handing out this award for years as the executive director of the Alumni Association. Did they pull a fast one on you, Leo, that you were getting it this year? Or, how did this go down?
Is it a fast one or a slow one? No, they. I don't know. I mean, how do you say that? I mean, other than I'm honored, and it's the timing was right. Receiving the award here in Hamilton is special, and then receiving the award with Rocky is special. Former teammate, we both won the Grey Cup Championship together, and as you know, but the guests might not know, Hamilton is just my home for the last 12 years, even though I played here and, I was back in Winnipeg and Vancouver for a while. So it's been a great opportunity to connect with former teammates I played with on the Hammer, Rocky being one of them. And
Leo, I say this, I say this and I mean it. That CFL Legends Lunch, and I'm forever grateful that you had me MC it in 2013 in Regina. It's the greatest event at Grey Cup. How did it become that? Is it because it's the alumni, or is it because it's a 4-hour program and it's entertaining the whole way through? Why do you think, because I know you'll agree, it's the best event at Grey Cup?
Well, I mean, there's so many things that make it exceptional. One of it's the timing is right? It's a Friday lunch. It opens up the Grey Cup weekend. You have lunch, and that's it for the weekend. You're gone, right? I mean, for those folks that enjoy Grey Cup. And the event itself, it's just captures tradition of the CFL in Canada. There's a lot of tradition. A couple of years ago, we integrated Indigenous dancers into our march into the room. The march is a big deal. Pipers, CFL alumni wearing all their jerseys, usually between 50 and 75 CFL alumnus in the room. All the fans are wearing their jersey. It's really, the tradition of the Canadian Football League that we honor, and kicking off the weekend to Canada's greatest party.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of parties at Grey Cup. It's become like Super Bowl in that regard. But, I mean, I'm at every one that I could be at, I go. And I'm sure you feel very honored that all the dignitaries are there, because who's more busier than the commissioner or the GMs of the teams or the owners or whatever? They're all there. Even if it's a flyby, they make it a point of going.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, too, I failed to mention is you never know what's going to happen at the luncheon. You never know who's going to be there. You never know who you're going to run into. You never know who's going to get upset at another guy.
Listen.
So there's surprises, and it's all in good fun. There's certainly some formality to it, but it's really informal, right? I mean, it's just fans and family getting together.
You wouldn't know that there's formality to it. If I hadn't seen the script, you would think it was just 500 people getting together to have a great time and tell stories, which is what it is. But it's all orchestrated, as you say. But listen, I'd never met Rocky DiPietro before. As you probably know, he was on the show earlier this week.
Yeah.
It seems to me like a very buttoned-down, classy guy. And he's like, I brought up the Joe Cap-Angie Mosca fight. And he's like, I'm sorry that had to happen, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what do you mean? It was awesome.
Yeah.
Where are you on that, Leo? Because you were running the show when it happened, right, in Vancouver in 2011?
What I got, there's a little background there. The idea popped into my head that, you know what? Let's settle the controversy once and for all. It was the 62 Grey Cup. I think it was 62 or 64. Ange didn't get called on a hit to Willie Fleming out of bounds. And BC Lions say that's what changed the game, and that's why the Ticats won. And they were, let's say, whining about it for a lot of years. So I got the original film on it from CBC. I looked over the original film. It won a penalty. But what a fun event to get these two guys together. So Joe said, hey, I know Ange, who's living here. I know Ange is Ange, and I mean, he's not going to get on a line until he has to. And Joe Cap was fine. These guys said, Leo, great idea. We'll have some fun. Next thing you know, one of them had an agenda to show up. And it didn't help with Ron James, the Canadian comic. He kind of fueled the fire. Next thing you know, they're going at it on stage. And it was divided. A lot of folks with Rocky's view on it, that it wasn't a good thing, and a lot of people really enjoyed it. So where do you stand on that? I don't know. It's after the fact, it really did put us on the map in a lot of respects. It's consistently one of the, TSN highlights, all-time highlights.
And ESPN. And ESPN, but continue.
Well, that's the thing back then, right? I mean, that you got to remember that was 2011, and the amount of social media it exploded. It really did. I mean, it was on, and it didn't explode until it was on the NFL Today show. Shannon Sharp and Gruden, and they brought it up, and they got in between it. And Gruden, I think Gruden said to Sharp, "That's enough, Sharp, or I'll cap you." So
that's right.
Different
We're not advocating. Yeah, we're not advocating that might happen this year, but you just never know. Where can get tickets? I understand the tickets are going well, but you still have some tickets to sell. So how can they buy them, Leo?
Through the Grey Cup Festivals, greycupfestival.ca, and you should be able to find it there. If not there, it's just Google CFLAA Legends Luncheon. I think that's probably the best place to and the easiest place to remember how to get there. And if not, send me an email, leo@cflaa.ca, and I'll help you out.
All of those things. But GreyCupFestival.ca, they're doing a wonderful job there of selling events for this Grey Cup. So, Leo, listen, we got to run because we are out of time, but I'll say it again. Congratulations. You definitely earned it, and I know it'll be a lot of fun.
Well, thank you, Rod. It's a great honor. It's a great privilege. It's been a great journey and a heck of an adventure. And thank you for your support all over the years. And I mean that sincerely. We go back a long ways.
We got to get together soon. Yes, we do go back a long ways. We got to get going to these Gridiron Greats banquets together. That's what we got to get going, Leo. But we'll do it after this Grey Cup.
All right, my friend. Well, thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure.
Thanks for the time. You
Take
bet,
care.
buddy. Thanks for the time. Leo Ezerins, Man of the Year, CFL alumni, and the Canadian Football League. We'll be back with overtime right after this. All of your questions, get them out, get them ready. Send them in now. 902-518-3033, EMJ Marketing text line, or the YouTube stream. We got a sports update coming too. We're live on Game Plus TV, WQEE Radio, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG. Always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, we're back for overtime, everybody. Hope you are ready for the weekend. Make it a fun one, make it a safe one, and think of us. Thanks for making us part of your Friday, or whenever you are tuning into the program. I know I'm a little off camera here, Jordan. Hang on. I'm just getting my sports update ready to roll. We got a lot to get to today, and oh, man, I love this job. I've been wanting to interview Ricky Williams for a long time. So, and as a pretty high-profile NFL agent texted me today, he goes, "You got the biggest stars on the RP show." Yes, we do. Ricky Williams fits that mold. Not to mention Leo Ezerins, of course. Jim Barker. Yeah, it's a good day. Overtime is brought to you by Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, where skill and fun collide. Flames are on the road, which we'll talk about in a second. What else you got to do? Go to Overtime Hockey Lanes this weekend. Check out their social media for their hours. 28th Street Northeast. A slap shot away from the old Crossroads Flea Market. How do you like that, Randy? Coming up with marketing slogans on my own. How about that? His is where skill and fun collide, which they do. But it's also an amusement park for hockey players. It's also one of the greatest places I've ever been. Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, fully licensed. They got a restaurant. Just go check it out. Staff parties, team building. You got it. Cleveland Browns quarterback Deshaun Watson's expected to start Sunday at Indy after missing 2 games with a right shoulder injury. He last played on September 24th when he bruised his rotator cuff while being tackled on a running play against Tennessee. The BC Lions host the Calgary Stampeders tonight with sights on putting the pressure on Winnipeg in their battle for top spot in the CFL West. A BC loss or a Winnipeg victory in either of its remaining 2 games will give the Blue Bombers top spot. BC plans to have star quarterback Vernon Adams back for tonight's contest. And it's interesting, isn't it? How everybody thinks they know, but nobody really knows, and that includes me. You got Moose on here earlier saying, the Riders are going to miss the playoffs. Trending that way, sure, but as we sit here today, they are in a playoff spot. Then you got Scruffy. If you go to rodpeterson.com right now, read Scruffy's column. It's the second item from the top running. He says the Riders are going to be in no matter what. Foregone conclusion. Who knows? Who really knows? We'll find out over the next 2 weeks. It's delicious. And if I'm not mistaken, Calgary, if they were to win tonight, which Jim Barker says there's no way that'll happen, but then why play the game? Calgary wins tonight and the Riders lose tomorrow. It's over. So that's what I love and hate about this time of year. You don't want meaningless games, and we're certainly not there yet. But the Argos are dressing their full lineup for the game Saturday, which I think a lot of people thought they wouldn't because they've been clinched since Labor Day almost. The Calgary Flames play the second of a back-to-back set tonight, visiting the Columbus Blue Jackets. Flames won 4-3 in Buffalo last night, and the New York Islanders host the New Jersey Devils in the other game on tap. Texas Rangers look to win their 2-game skid in the American League Championship Series, hosting Game 5 against the Houston Astros tonight. Houston won 10-3 Thursday to even the series at 2-2. Meanwhile, the Philadelphia Phillies hope to take a 3-1 lead in the NLCS when they visit the Arizona Diamondbacks. D-backs won 2-1 Thursday night. Toronto Raptors play their preseason finale this evening against the Washington Wizards at Scotiabank Arena. Toronto is 3-0 through the preseason so far and opens its regular season next Wednesday against Minnesota. Our sports updates are brought to you by Common Crown Brewing, a commitment to connection and celebration of uniqueness. Visit commoncrown.ca. Just taking a peek in here, the text line 902-518-3033. I haven't looked at it for a while. Yeah, we asked on behalf of the viewers if Jim Barker would be interested in the coaching or GM job of the Riders. What'd he say? He didn't want to coach, but he'd consider the GM.
Bingo!
And if you know Jim, yeah, that doesn't surprise me a lot. I might have said, well, there are people in those roles, so until that's not the case, I don't want to talk about it. Not Jim. He's like, yeah, I'd take it. Brian in Hudson's Bay, Sask, regarding the interview with Ricky Williams earlier. Rod, what year was it that he played up here? 2006. I heard that he was a good dude, and he proved it on here today. I just have I get triggered when I look at what teams and leagues and media entities, how anyone's tarnish people. Kirk in Toronto says, hi, Rod. Wearing that cape and crown makes me want to crack open a bottle of Crown Royal Canadian Harvest Rye. You do you, brah. Bomber Boy in Calgary writes in, he says, is football Friday like hitting for the cycle or a Gordie Howe hat trick? I have no idea what you mean. Oh, from all the viewers. Here we go. Thanks, Ryan in Saratoga. Have a great weekend, Rod Squad. Enjoy whichever sports you watch. Hey, Ryan O'Radio, thank you. Says another great football Friday. Same to you, bud. Have a good weekend. See you all Monday. Hey, Jen from the Four Seasons, don't panic over the weekend.
Who has more fun than us?